Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Welcome everyone to our July 9th PPRTA Board of Directors meeting. We do have a quorum, so as I said, I'll call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I don't believe we have any changes to the agenda, so I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
John Graham, I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we have an approved agenda. Public comment for items not on the agenda. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment on an item not on the agenda? Okay, I'm seeing none. We'll move on then to the approval of the minutes from the June 11th meeting. You should all have a copy of them in your packet. Any changes, corrections, comments? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second John Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. All those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, Citizen Advisory Committee monthly report. Mr. Godfrey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Jim Godfrey, Chair of the CAC. Our meeting last week, the gauntlet is down. It only lasted an hour. We had the city of Colorado Springs brought together of 6 contracts, I think, 5. Yes, I said see revised and I didn't bring the revised. All no issues with any of their contracts. Recommend approval as they presented. The county brought in 2 issues. One was a cancellation of a reimbursement agreement. Another was a Woodmore Drive. No issues with that and recommend approval of that as well. Green Mountain Falls brought a item to us. And we didn't have it at the CAC. We didn't have anybody to discuss that or present it, but with the consensus of the CAC, everybody had read the report and read the data. I had no questions, so we recommend approval as submitted unless something comes up today. So no problem with that. There were no questions on any of the property acquisition. Monthly change orders. Gail gave us an update on Powers North reimbursement. We did have a discussion about where that reimbursement sheet that she gives us shows the amount of money that's been invoiced. We had a discussion about what's been paid. So we kind of discussed that, and the data is in Lisa's monthly reports versus on that report because it's a lag between by the time the city gets it and the time PPRTA pays it out. So the data is being tracked and it's visible. So we do know that. So anyway, just a heads up on that. We did discuss the amended rules establishing technology assessment standards, and that's on your agenda today. And after discussion with that, we recommend approval of that. Then that's that deal with the ADA and the compliance of the data and having a plan and policy in place and that kind of thing. And then revision 8 was board policy number 8, the contract cover sheet. On the contract cover sheets that you see that accompanies each project, it had a box for maintenance capital or capital maintenance, but we weren't sure whether it was RTA 1 or RTA 2 or RTA 3. So we asked if they could put a checkbox on this form without us having to read to know whether it's RTA 2 or RTA 3 money. And so that was a change, and they were able to do that. So recommend that we approve the revised cover sheet. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Jim on any of those items?
You guys brothers, you got the same shirt on today. I like that. I like that.
We were both at a good golf tournament. And it was not coordinated.
I'm just sad that I didn't get one of the shirts. Those are pretty good shirts. All right. I don't see any questions for you, Jim. So
Great. Thank you very much.
appreciate it. Thank you. Brings us then to the financial reports. 6A is the monthly report, which is information only. And as I understand it, we do not have that yet because of the timing in the month with the 4th of July
And
holiday.
if we go back and ask the board to accept
Oh.
the CAC report.
My apologies. Thanks, Rick. Could
And
I-
Mayor Dixon also move we accept the CAC report.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, aye.
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 Thank you. Now moving on to the financial reports. As I was saying, the monthly report, we don't have the financials yet.
Right. The reports are not available yet. As soon as they are and I have that done, I will email it out to everyone.
Okay, very good. 6B then is the fiscal year 2025 mid-year budget amendment. And we need to take two actions as part of this. We will be adopting the budget, hopefully, and then appropriating it. As you may recall, this is a public hearing. And so I will now open the public hearing. The first order of business will be a presentation from Lisa, but I'll also ask, I don't think we're planning to have any detailed presentations from the member governments unless someone would like to have a presentation. And so I would maybe suggest that we start with Lisa, and then if there is someone that wants a detailed presentation from one of the member governments, we can move to that. Does that sound good to everybody? Okay, Lisa.
Okay, so the additional revenue that we added is for the net revenue carryover from 24. So that is just shy of 9.7 million. Then we have the allocation of the PPRTA 2 capital reserves, and that is just shy of 8.2 million. We did decide to not add any new funds for 25 sales and use tax, so that remains the same. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Any questions from board members, or again, if anybody wants a presentation on any particular item, we can do that. Okay. As a public hearing, I'll open it up for any public comment. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing portion of this and ask if there are any other deliberations, discussions, comments. Mr. Applegate.
I had a question. So 9, just shy of 9.7 and then 8.1,
Mhm.
the difference between the two, I assume that we're tucking that away. How is that stored? Savings? Are we bonding that? What are we doing with that?
The 9.7 is revenue that we collected above budget last year, so we're just allowing it to be used in the amendment for this year. The 8.2, that was part of our capital reserves from the last 10-year cycle. So we're just distributing that out to be used for PPRTA 2 because now we're in PPRTA 3. So we started a new reserve fund.
How do we save on those reserve funds? What are they saved in? Like
It came out of the initial budget, so everything that we needed to replenish was part of the initial budget.
Okay.
So it's already there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? As I noted, this is actually two separate resolutions, one to adopt the amended budget and then the second to appropriate. Unless anyone has concerns, I recommend that we just make one motion to do both actions. And so I would entertain a motion to that effect.
Mayor Osborne.
This is Mayor Dixon. I'll move we approve the 2025 mid-year budget amendment and allocate those funds.
Very good. Is there a second?
Appropriate those funds. Appropriate those funds. Sorry.
Harry Geithner, I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Geithner. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Got that done. On to 7, 2025 capital maintenance and public transportation contracts. Up first, City of Colorado Springs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the PPRTA Board. Gail Sturdivant representing the City of Colorado Springs. As Mr. Godfrey mentioned, we have 5 contracts for your consideration today. The first 3 contracts are going to be bridge maintenance contracts. The first one is the Bijou Street over the Shooks Run Bridge Maintenance Project. There is a map included in your package. We went through an RFP process for this repair, for this maintenance work. We received 2 bids. to do the repairs on the culvert. This is actually a very long culvert. It's several hundred feet, couple hundred feet long. Scour protection. We selected TLM Constructors in the amount of $1,229,250. The second bridge maintenance contract is for Castilla Street over Shook's Run. Also a map included in your packet. Again, we went through an RFP process. We had 2 respondents to be able to complete the interior repairs, scour protection, and the new headwall installation. Wildcat Construction was selected in the amount of $763,551.60. The third one is Woodman Road over Academy Boulevard Bridge Maintenance. Again, there is a map included in your packet. We went for an IFB, or invitation for bid, where we had 3 respondents. We selected American Civil Constructors West Coast in the amount of $2,878,000. And this is a really extensive repair, not just on that bridge, but there's also bridges on the ramp and any kind of that concrete area associated with that bridge. We're going to be doing maintenance work associated with it. And a lot of it is removing that TBTRA pavement, that rubberized asphalt pavement that is deteriorated really badly, getting down to basically the base of the deck, rebuilding that up and putting a polyester concrete in place. There's also, we're going to be installing new joints and we're doing repair work around those bridges that have been damaged over the years that it's been in service. City's fourth contract is for the MMOF Trail Crossing. MMOF is the state's Multimodal Transportation Mitigation Option Fund grant program for the 3 trail crossings, which are located at Dublin Park, Crosswalk coming over Dublin Boulevard, the Rock Island Trail crossing Murray Avenue, and the Shook's Run Trail crossing Uinta. During the construction of this project, there was an inlet that was damaged, and so that's going to be repaired as part of this change order, and the city stormwater enterprise will be paying for it. We also made the decision to add a second pedestrian accessible route on the north side of El Paso Street where we're doing that. So the total change order to Finsterwald is $26,000. $12,000 will come from the city stormwater enterprise, $14,000 from PPRTA. And the city's last contract is an on-call concrete services contract for Transit Services Division. They went through and did an RFP last year where they pre-qualified 2 contractors, Lucky Dog Contracting and Alunic Enterprises. This will be exercising the first option year. And we wanted to add up to $250,000 each. So $50,000 would come from PPRTA and up to $200,000 would come from federal grant sources. That ratio, if that gets used, would be 80% federal money, 20% PPRTA. And those are the city's contracts. And any questions that I can answer?
Any questions for Gail? You're good? Okay. Okay, seeing no questions, this is an item for approval. And I would entertain a motion.
Move approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, John Graham.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. 7B, El Paso County.
Good afternoon, Josh Palmer, County Engineer. The county has 2 items to bring before you for approval today. The first is the termination of the reimbursement agreement between El Paso County and Melody Homes. In October of 2024, we were approved for a reimbursement agreement for 50% of the cost associated with the Eastonville road improvements from Londonderry to Rex Road. So this is the north end, as you can see in your map, of the county's RTA2 project on Eastonville. It was up to 50% of the cost, not to exceed $4 million. But we have since learned from Melody Homes that their long-term projections for development in the area are not panning out as they planned, and they have no plans for development at least in the next couple years. So our plan is to terminate, in concurrence with Melody Homes, terminate that reimbursement agreement. So no money has been spent yet. So it's a $0 change. No money has been allocated or spent. So we were just requesting the board's approval to terminate that reimbursement agreement. The second is a design contract request award to Alfred Benish in the amount of $599,731. And this is for the design and property acquisition associated with the Lake Woodmore intersection improvement. And if you're familiar with that area, it's just adjacent to CDOT's Park and Ride there on Woodmore and 105. It's been a long time coming. The intersection improvements needed there. So this is a purchase order contract to Alfred Benish to perform design and property acquisition. Able to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions on the county's items? Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move approval of the El Paso County contracts as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Mayor Dixon.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Great, thank you. 7C, Town of Green Mountain Falls, and I think Caleb is here from the town. Good afternoon and welcome.
Kelly Hakes, Green Mountain Falls Public Works Supervisor. We're going to be presenting to you today some asphalt maintenance. We got an estimate from Johnstone Seal Coating. Go over briefly, got 16,384 square feet of mill and fill over the various parts of the town. Got some potholes, do some pave patching. It's going to help out with our drainage. And we got some bad alligatoring on the entrance to town. And at the other end of town, we have some bad the groundwater's pretty low. It's a lot of freeze thaw. We're getting some potholes. And also our post office parking lot is looking pretty rough and the drainage isn't correct. So with this contract, we'd be able to fix all of that and make our town look a lot nicer. We're asking for $56,610.50, and that will get all that work done for us. So if any questions, I can answer them for you.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Unless there's any discussion, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I move approval of the Town of Green Mountain Falls contracts as presented. John Graham.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Moving on then to member government and other reports. City of Colorado Springs Transit Services monthly update.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Line Route Transit Division Manager, Mountain Metro Transit. In your packet is our monthly report, including the ridership information. And I would like to highlight one item under the transit highlight section. The third page right here. Thank you. This is something that is still a work in progress. We will need final approval from City Council, Colorado Springs City Council, before we can move forward with this concept. Since we have attended 3 meetings at Manitou Springs in May, presenting this concept to Manitou Springs City Council. This has become a public information, and we've been getting a lot of customer inquiries and questions on this. So we thought maybe before we go to Colorado Springs City Council, we can share this with the board before we have the final IGA ready for review and approval. This conversation started a few years back, initiated by a Manitou Springs request to provide free bus service between Manitou Springs to the Safeway on 32nd Street and Colorado Avenue. We operate Route 3 that travels between Colorado Springs downtown bus terminal and Manitou Springs along Colorado Avenue. We operate a fare charging system, meaning the riders have to pay a fare when they get on the bus, and that revenue becomes part of actually PPRTA budget that comes back to operating, supporting transit operations. So it is a very important revenue source for transit operations. However, there is also a strong voice from Manitou Springs having this need to meet their community's request. So we looked into different options over the last couple of years, from having different practice for passengers boarding in this area versus in different area that create a lot of enforcement and equity concerns. When someone is paying next to someone who is not. We also explored purchasing bus pass options, having maybe Manitou Springs to distribute, but that creates another layer of logistical challenges. So in the end, we came up with this, not a brand new concept in transit agency, but it is a new concept for our region. We call it a fare buy-up option. What it does is we look at the ridership from prior years and then look at the ridership originating from either Manitou Springs area or Colorado Springs. Then we use that ridership as the basis to look at, okay, how we get fare revenue reimbursed, making transit whole. We still have the revenue to support our operations, however, providing this free service. So with the support of Colorado Springs Parking Enterprise, thanks to Gail and Alyssa support, Parking Enterprise is willing to reimburse transit for 3/4 of that lost fare revenue, while the other quarter will come from City of Manitou Springs. So basically, in the end, transit will be made whole for that fare revenue reimbursement. And we are helping alleviating parking pressure in Old Colorado City, where transit Route 3 serves very well, and Parking Enterprise has been looking for different options to solve that parking issue. And this will provide that free access for Manitou Springs residents to go to Safeway for free. And along that Route 3, we're hoping to see streamlined parking, especially during the summertime with events happening. People might be able to park in Colorado Springs parking garages, take the bus all the way to Manitou Springs. So that is something that we have been working with Manitou Springs on for a while, and this is really a new concept and pilot program with the support from Manitou Springs and Parking Enterprise. We are looking at implementing this in March, end of March 2026, if City Council approves that after the IGA is finalized. That's my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on the transit report?
If I might make a few comments,
Yeah.
representing Manitou Springs. I think Lan did an excellent job of explaining simply a vexing problem that Manitou Springs has struggled with for several years. And when several months ago, when she and her staff presented this idea, I was really pretty amazed that they came up with a simple solution. And in fact, Manitou will be giving up a seasonal bus route that we provided just at the end of April through September, and with the money from that, we'll be able to help fund our portion of this bus service. So in effect, we're not really increasing our expense very much. We're greatly improving service. The schedule is improved. If I could. This is one of those cases where government actually did something that's now it's cheaper, faster, better, and simpler. And if we could do that every day or do it once a week, I'd be delighted to see this throughout the rest of government. So I think this is a very promising path forward. And I'd also like to thank Gail for the support that she's provided and her department's provided to Mountain Metro. So thanks. And I'll have to admit that several years ago, I was pretty skeptical about this. I was the minority member on council. I really didn't see a way to make this work, but I was proven wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong in this case. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
City of Colorado Springs monthly change order and property acquisition report.
Oh, yes, Mr. Chair, Gail Stern with City of Colorado Springs. Both the change order log and the real estate log are provided for your reference. And I will point out on the change order log on the bottom table, in one area on the second from the right-hand side column, it says capital. In one area that actually is a maintenance contract. But otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Gail? Okay. Since that was an information item only, we'll move on then to C, City of Colorado Springs Powers North reimbursement update.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So as we've been trying to do on most months, you're going to be seeing just an update on what has been invoiced and paid by Copper Ridge Metro District that is eligible for reimbursement underneath the Powers reimbursement agreement. As of this statement, the total amount is just over 20.4 million, of which approximately 19.2 million is attributed towards PPRTA. I will note on the first part of that memo that, and we are continuing to evaluate if we put infrastructure in on behalf of Colorado Springs Utilities, that they're reimbursing us. In this particular one, there is a $73,134 credit from Colorado Springs Utilities to PPRTA. So I just wanted to take note. So you'll see those happen periodically as we go through and audit things towards the end of major tasks. So this is where we are. Oh, and it did come up as Mr. Godfrey mentioned in his report. So right now, the Metro District has been reimbursed since the beginning of March, and they get reimbursed through 25, $1.215 million. So towards the end of the year, we will have paid them back $12,150,000. But we're incurring costs. So at some point in time, there might be a break-even point, but not likely, because if I could, since we're talking about Powers, and I don't forget this later, we are actually moving ahead very rapidly with Powers. One of my public announcements will be there is going to be a public meeting. The first are probably a series of public meetings on July 17th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Discovery Canyon. If you would like to come and attend, it's going to be more of an open house style with a lot of different staff there to be able to talk expertise. Plus, we're pre-recording a video, which would really be a presentation, but it's hard to have a large span and have one presentation time. So that's how we're handling it. I will say the focus of the meeting is going to be on the noise study that's going to be done for the main line for the Powers extension. And we are going to be talking about the local bridges, which we're anticipating starting construction towards the end of this year. So it's just more than just a financial update, but more about just a project snapshot as well. Any
Great.
questions?
Good
Okay,
update. Any questions for Gail? Okay, thank you. And then item D, El Paso County monthly change order and property acquisition report.
Just like the city, I'm going to answer any questions you may have about the memo or the property acquisition or change order log.
Any questions for Josh on that?
What's the status on South Academy Boulevard for our end? Because I know that's city, is that strictly county, or is the city working on part of that, or no?
Well, the city and the county both have projects on South Academy, but this
Okay.
one would be for the county's project. So you're talking about status for the completion of the project?
Yeah, because they're still working over there, right?
Oh, yeah.
The county part of it, in the county side, yeah.
Yeah.
What is this? What are they looking at for completion?
End of next year.
End of next year?
End of next year, yeah. That's
Okay.
That's the broad schedule right now. I unofficially would say we'll probably be done sooner than that. But I
Cool.
don't want to get ahead of myself.
And a little joke, there's a typo here. It says interim executive director Jack Ladley.
Oh yeah, well yeah, this is
He's our new
Jack Ladley is no longer interim. He's actual director of public works now. So we'll definitely make that change next month.
Great. Anything else? All right, we'll move on to item 9. 9A is to discuss amended rules establishing technology accessibility standards and consider approval of resolution adopting revised technology accessibility statement. And our attorney, Ms. Ivy, is going to walk us through that.
Yeah, for any of you who are looking for some bedtime reading, if you have insomnia, this memo is great for that. This looks very similar to what you were presented a couple of years ago when this legislation first passed. It really just updates it for the laws that have been passed in the interim, including last year when there was a safe harbor period passed and some of the other clarifications. The reason we're bringing this to you today is because the Office of Information Technology, OIT, has adopted new rules just a couple of months ago. And on top of that, the sort of 1-year safe harbor period ended on July 1, 2025. So what this brings before you today is a resolution for your consideration. I'll tell you that the new rules are a bit more lenient than the old rules. I think the OIT sort of recognized some things that governments were struggling with over the last couple of years. So there is some ability to have archived information on websites that wouldn't be subject to the rules and some other improvements over the past rules. With the safe harbor period coming to an end, there's now an ability to have an accessibility plan that's updated at least annually. That's one method of showing that a local government is trying to comply with the rules. And so we're recommending and have actually implemented on behalf of the board having one of those plans in place. It basically just recognizes areas where it's a work in progress and more work is needed to come into full accessibility. So today, what the board is considering is a resolution which recognizes these new rules, adopts a new technology accessibility statement, which is slightly updated from the statement you previously had based on the OIT rules that are new, and then also directing that this accessibility plan be updated on at least an annual basis. I will report that I made the executive decision to go ahead and get the board in compliance before July 1st. So Jared, who's sitting back there, has already complied with all this and posted things on the website. So this is really a ratification item since we wanted to make sure you were compliant prior to that July 1st deadline.
Thanks, Jennifer. Any questions about the policy or the implementation? Okay, seeing none, this is an approval item, so I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move approval as presented. John Graham.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
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 And any opposed? All right, we're fully in compliance now. 9B, the draft revision to board policy 8, contract cover sheet. And I think Rick is going to walk us through this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Rick Sonnenberg. At the CAC meeting a month ago, CAC member pointed out that the contract cover sheet, which was originally approved by the board as board policy number 8 back in 2005, only has 3 boxes in the lower left corner, capital maintenance and transit. And the CAC member suggested, wouldn't it be nice if, since we're on the transition between PPRTA 2 and PPRTA 3, wouldn't it be nice to show separate boxes on the lower left corner for capital for PPRTA 2 capital projects and PPRTA 3 capital projects? So that's what we've done. The CAC liked that, so that's in your packet. And since the revised cover sheet is part of board policy 8, then we need to ask the board to approve the revised board policy 8 with its revised contract cover sheet.
Pretty straightforward, but any questions on that or why we're doing it? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second John Graham.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you. 9C is the staff field review report. Rick, anything you want to touch on there?
Nothing of note. It's just the results of my windshield surveying on a quarterly basis of what's been reported as being completed in the prior quarter.
Okay, any questions? All right, 10 is the agenda topics for next meeting. I don't think we have anything unique or special there. So I'll bring it then to PPRTA member announcements. Yes, sir.
For Callahan, I'd like to thank Carrie and her staff for getting the road done to El Paso County Fairgrounds, and remind everybody this Saturday the El Paso County Fair starts. And Friday, if you're available, please come to Callahan. We have Summerfest from 4 o'clock to about 9 or 10 o'clock. And it's a fun time to get together. But thanks Carrie, really, and your team. I appreciate you guys getting that done for us.
Thanks, Mr. Wall. Any other reports? Yes, sir.
Up in Green Mountain Falls, the Green Box Arts Festival is winding down this week. Actually, this weekend. We will also have a Bronc Day, the last Saturday of the month. We were a little, we had to recalibrate ourselves a little bit because the art display kind of went viral and we had a lot more, we're having a lot more people show up than what we kind of originally anticipated. But we're fairly well recalibrated now. The bad news is we had a small fire in the building that houses the bar and the Southwestern restaurant. It will be a while before they're open up again. They were trying to open up again today, but it's at least going to be another week, maybe even longer for all I know. We are now trying to bring in food trucks to try to service the people coming in to view the art displays. So yeah, a little bit of hiccups, but we'll see it through.
Well, very good. Hope it all works out. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like Carrie Geithner online has a comment. Sorry, Carrie, I didn't see you.
No problem. I just wanted to say thanks for the kind comments on the road. We are very excited about the fair and happy to partner with Callahan on this as always. I hope you guys will come on out and enjoy it. It's going to be truly fantastic. But thank you for those kind comments.
Very good. Well, unless there's any other business, I do want to point out for the record that Jim Godfrey threw down the gauntlet that he did his meeting in an hour. I want to point out that we did ours in 35 minutes. So we beat him by 25 minutes. And unless there's anything else, we'll stand adjourned.